The goal is the thing on the horizon, and you can see it. It's miles and miles and infinite miles away, but you can see it. Today, you might get 50 miles closer. Tomorrow, you might get 1 mile closer. But that 1 mile can't stop you from aiming for 50 the next day. And then the next day.
People say, well, don't tie your self-worth to your home, and don't tie your self-worth to your physique, and don't tie your self-worth to your business or your income. I mean, don't tie your self-worth to what car you drive. Well, what do I tie it to? I think you tie your self-worth to intentions, effort, and getting better.
Next Level Nation, welcome back to another episode of Next Level University, where we help you level up your life, your love, your health, and your wealth. Today, for episode number 1762, we're gonna pose a question to you, and the question is detached from the outcome. And I got to do the high pitch towards the end there, so you know it's a question. But Alan and I were having a conversation, and I said, yeah, there's been a lot of momentum, and I've been having a lot of conversations with podcasters, and there's a lot of opportunity out there. And Alan said, well, have you done all you can with all you have? And I said, yeah, I feel really good about it. And Alan said, well, then that's really all you can control. Have you done all you can with all you have? And can you say that? Can you say you've done all you can with all you have? And I said, yeah, I feel like I really have. And he said, cool, that's it. We were having a conversation last week or 2 weeks before, and you said, I really feel like I'm starting to understand what detached from outcome means to you. I won't say that it's what everybody else means it to mean, but I thought it would be unique to do an episode on that, because anytime we are, again, going through something, growing through something, learning through something, it's always valuable to have a dialogue about it. So that's my thought for this episode.
The way that I used to view detached from outcome was that is not good advice, because you cannot reverse engineer a finish line that you do not have. If you don't know what result you're shooting for, what goal you're shooting for, what mountain you're climbing, you cannot reverse engineer a path to get there. A GPS needs 3 things. It needs, number 1, an accurate current location. Number 2, it needs an accurate destination address. Number 3, it needs accurate data of the roads and the lakes and the mountains and the stuff. Otherwise, it'll drive you off a cliff, essentially. So you can't detach from outcome as a starting point. As a starting point, you have to say, here's where I am, here's where I want to go, and I'm going to chart a path, reverse engineer the path toward that outcome. But once you chart that path, then things are going to happen, like detours, that you didn't expect, and then you're going to have to take roads that you didn't expect. Things are going to come up. There's going to be storms, whatever, metaphor. And that's when you have to not beat yourself up unnecessarily. If you're doing all you can with all you have. Now, here's the thing. Rather than some fortune cookie, do all you can with all you have quote, what it needs to be is, what does that actually mean? What is all you have? And I told this to Kev earlier, because we have a potentially awesome new client coming that's going to be really good and potentially business and life changing. And that's great, several. And Kev's like, and I said, well, dude, have you done all you can with all you have? And he said, yes. I said, have you done the best you could with the time, effort, and money that we have? And you said, yes. I said, okay, well, then we're good. Move on. There's no point in getting overly excited or overly down. At this point, if they don't come, there's nothing else in your control that we can do about that. Is that correct? He said, yes. I said, okay, well, then we're good. Just move on, move on, move on. What most people do is they get super pumped about a new potential client that they start celebrating in advance. And then when they lose a client, they get really, really down. And all of us are guilty of this to some extent, myself included, to some extent. What I've tried really hard to get really good at over the last 9 years since my car accident is I try not to allow temporary emotions to affect long-term decision making. And so, for example, let's say there's two versions of Kev. One of them is the old Kev, and he's like, dude, oh my God, we've got 2 potential new clients that are awesome. I'm so excited. This is going to be life-changing. And he calls me up and he interrupts me. This is not what you did. Okay, this is hypothetical. But you get pumped. You're like, hell yeah, what a great day. And then you go off and you celebrate right now. And you step off the gas. And we don't end up doing these episodes. We have to do them tomorrow. You end up celebrating and spending money we don't have yet. All this different stuff. That's what a newbie entrepreneur does. And what this Kevin does is much more stoic, and not stoic in the sense of never let them see you sweat, never be vulnerable, never cry. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is, dude, they may or may not actually follow through. No money has been exchanged yet. They haven't fully signed up or onboarded yet, so don't get too excited. But that doesn't mean don't get too excited as in crush your hopes and dreams. They probably will sign up. It's not like because I know a lot of people here don't get too excited, and that's like dream killer type stuff when you're a kid, and people say don't get your hopes up. It's like, well, I want to be a firefighter, and I want to be a singer, and well, don't get your hopes up. One of my clients earlier, he has 5 things that he's super passionate about, and I said, which one's the one that you'd go all in on if it was just about fulfillment and not about money or family, like taking care of your family? He said, musician. And I said, oh, interesting. He's like, yeah, but my dad told me early on. He's probably listening right now, by the way. What's up, man? My dad told me early on, mathematically, that's dangerous. Go for an education, and mathematically, that's smart. And I think there's some practicality in that. I'm not making that wrong. But what I will say is, who knows what might have happened if he had gone all in on musician, right? My point of this is that as you get older and wiser, I think that you stop allowing the waves of the storm to take you off course as much. That's really it. That's a good analogy, I think, is if it's a storm or it's a bright sunny day, we still stay the course. And so the new Kevin, instead of going and celebrating too early and then getting devastated when the client doesn't come, the new Kevin is like, okay, what's the next most important use of my time? And then and then the person who's like that ends up with way more results. That's the mature thing that I think we're trying to kind of grow into.
I think of it as throwing a ball and then understanding that the ball has now left your hands and there's nothing you can do. If you have been practicing throwing the ball and you know how to throw the ball and you know what the wind is and you know how far you're throwing the ball, and you really look at it and say, okay, yeah, all right, I'm ready. I feel like I've studied enough. Let me throw the ball. After you throw the ball, there's nothing you can do. What you can do is let that ball fly through the air and then pick up another ball and do the same thing. And if you do that, you're probably going to hit if you're throwing it at something or you're throwing it in a bucket or whatever, you're probably going to get more balls in if you do it that way. I am very guilty of the first one, for sure.
Can we talk about that? Can you articulate what it used to be like? I remember the story about you being in the elevator calling Taryn saying we made it.
Yeah.
Can we tell that? I think that's awesome.
Before there was any level of business success at all, I was getting a massage one day. Don't know why. I had no money. I have no idea why. My body was probably beaten up from
you were
lifting.
Manifesting. You know?
I was manifesting.
Yeah.
I walked out of the massage place, and I had a text message from a previous mentor. And he said, hey, one of my buddies wants to start a podcast. You should talk to him. And I remember saying, what do you mean? What are you talking about? He's like, well, he wants help with production, and I know you guys know how to do that, so this could be a potential opportunity. And I was like, all right, whatever, I'll see what I can do. So I called this guy and put on my best business voice and business face and said, hey, it's a pleasure to meet you. So-and-so told me to reach out. I'd love to know what you're looking for. What are you interested in, kind of? And he said, well, I want to start a podcast, and this is the space, and this is my experience, and I was told that you can help. And I was like, yeah, of course, definitely. Yeah. We can help you. For sure. For sure.
What do you need?
I'll figure that out as we go.
Third team All-State. I'll put the ball wherever you want it.
We'll figure it out. So we decided I was going to go meet him at his place of work, and this person was the CEO of a financial institution.
Yeah.
Maybe the best
Mass Mutual? Yeah, Mass Mutual.
I don't remember what it was.
Yeah.
but he was the CEO. So I go to this really nice office building, and this gentleman, a very awesome human being, comes down from his office in his suit, and we have a conversation. He's like, what do you guys do? How much is it? What can I expect? So we have a conversation.
What are you dressed like? This is fun for me. What were you dressed like?
Oh, khakis and a button-up.
Nice.
Yeah, khakis and a button-up. That's it. That's what I had. I still don't have very nice clothes. I'm wearing a Hurley t-shirt. If I get sponsored by Hurley, that would be that's my second life's mission. So we shake, and he's all right, let me think about it, and I'll kind of text you. Shit, I missed. I thought this was going to be the thing. See, I was already excited. Because in my mind, this was going to happen. And this, when I tell you this was life-changing money, the package that this client wanted was $1,500 a month. That was life. I mean, think about right now, whether you're watching or listening, $1,500 extra a month for you is probably really good.
Mm-hmm.
I probably, most likely, with 99% accuracy, had less money than you have right now. I had zero money, and I was $30,000 in debt. So it was bad. It was really bad. So I kind of tuck my tail, and I leave, and it's like, shit, all right, I thought that was going to go different. Drive home, and I lived with Matt at the time, and we were talking about it, and I was like, I don't know, man. I feel like it went well. He just didn't, he didn't want to do it. Call or text from him a couple days later or a week later. He's like, all right, come back and let's discuss it more. I have some questions. It's like, I don't know why we couldn't just talk over the phone at this point. It's like, why am I driving out to this place so often? But again, I'm zero entitlement. Let me know what I can do to make this work. So I drive out. Another conversation. Seems really good. How's your Halloween? You enjoy Halloween? Oh, yeah, the kids love this. Like, nice. Nothing happened. I had a notebook this time, too. I brought a freaking notebook. Mm-hmm. I still couldn't close the deal. So nothing happened. Same thing. Very sad I thought this was the one. I thought this was the time. Go home, debrief with Matt, probably debrief with you. And then somehow it came up again. He's like, yeah, I got
probably
more questions.
Probably just Matt because you're ashamed to tell me.
Probably. Yeah, probably. So I go back out one last time. And this time I get invited up to his office. So I go in. I park in the parking garage, go into this nice building, get in the elevator, go up to the third or fourth floor, and I go into his office. And this time I was like, all right, this might be something. This has got to be something. Like, I'm behind enemy lines here. This has got to be something. And I think it was just, he asked like one more time. He's like, how much does it cost? And I said, it's $1,500 to launch. And our prices are much cheaper now because we realize this isn't super sustainable. It's $1,500 to launch the podcast, and it's $1,500 a month.
And we've gotten way better at doing it.
Yeah, we've gotten way better
less time.
This is the process. This is figuring it out in real time.
Yep.
And so I was like, it's $3,000 to start. And he's like, cash, check, Venmo, what do you take? And I was like, dude, whatever, man. Anything. I'll take a freaking IOU if you want to put it on a napkin. I'll take anything. And he's like, all right, cool, man. I'll Venmo you the money. And I got in the elevator, and I started crying. I started tearing up, and I texted Taryn, and I said, baby, we did it. Because for me, it was like, dude, nobody's ever going to pay me to produce their podcast. Are you kidding me? Nobody's going to pay me to do that. No way. Especially life-changing money. $3,000? That was like everything to me at the time. So, but the whole process of that was, here's the thing. It's really hard to detach from the outcome when you're scarce. I'm very abundant right now. I get a lot. It's mayhem right now. There's so much positive stuff going on. It's easy to say, yep, proposal sent. I did the best I can with what I have. I put everything I had into it. I added a ton of value. If they say yes, awesome. If they say no, that's okay. I'm still going to wish them nothing but love, and anything I can do to add value, I'll be a message away. But it's really easy to be that when you have opportunity. When you're scarce, that's where it's really important to practice this when you're scarce, because you're just going to ruminate over stuff that you can't control. You just can't control it. I had a conversation with someone today. It was a podcast breakthrough session. And he said, Kev, be real with me. Like, what are the chances I make it and really turn this into something? And I was like, geez. I said, I know you can do it. I just don't know if it's going to be worth it to you. Because you're looking at Years, man. You're looking at years before you see anything. Years. He's not really at the stage where he can detach from the outcome. He's got to make stuff happen. You got to make stuff happen. One of the reasons I was able to get as many clients as I was because because I didn't detach from the outcome. I followed up and I added value, and I followed up and I did unsustainable shit, and I followed up and I added value, and eventually people are like, yeah, man, I want to work with you. So I think there's a time and a place. I do. I think there's a time and a place. Even in this episode, it's like, I don't know if I'm fully bought in. It depends on where you are. But last thing, and then I'll kick it to you. The detached from outcome thing is, I need to be okay with it either way. I need to be okay with it if they say yes or if they say no. It can't break my spirit and it can't break my momentum. Because
and
if it breaks
can't get me to celebrate too early and lose
100%,
my humility.
100%.
Yep.
But if it breaks my spirit and it breaks my momentum, I'm going to stop doing the thing that actually got me here in the first place.
Detach from outcome. What the outcome that you never detached from was, what can I do to make this happen? That's an outcome you should.
And the macro outcome. I think you detach from micro outcomes, you stay connected to macro outcome. So macro outcome is have the most positively impactful self-improvement podcast on the planet ever of all time. Can't ever forget that.
You can't ever detach from that outcome.
Never.
Everything is in alignment with that.
Yes.
That's a really hard concept to explain. But even
everything
when it comes
else it's the day-to-day.
NLU listener, what is happening? I just wanted to jump in here and let you know, if you want to get to the next level faster, we have a free virtual monthly meetup at the first Thursday of every month. You can connect with like-minded people and become a bigger part of this amazing global community. The link to register will be in the show notes.
The goal is the thing on the horizon, and you can see it. It's miles and miles and infinite miles away, but you can see it. Today, you might get 50 miles closer. Tomorrow, you might get 1 mile closer. But that 1 mile can't stop you from aiming for 50 the next day. And then the next day. And then the next day. That's how I think of it now is, I'm going to do the best I can today, and some results will happen. But if I allow the lack of some results today to stop some results tomorrow, I am really losing.
And in the process, you have to improve. It's like, I'll use basketball as a metaphor. When you're playing basketball, even if you're wide open, you might miss it.
That's fair, yeah.
The more shots you take, the more you'll get in. The more points you'll score, the more games you'll win. But you still have to improve your shot percentage. That's really what it comes down to ultimately. It's your shot percentage has gotten so much better.
Yeah.
It's beef. Balance, elbow, eyes, follow through. So you have to... But the point that I'm trying to make here is, Kev, you never detached from what can I do to get the client. Even with this client, the $3,000 one, that one, you never detached from all that you could do. That's kind of my point. That's why detached from outcome was so negative in our minds back then, because it was like, good, what do you mean?
Yeah.
I need to get this done, and I need to tie, and I'll go down this rabbit hole very briefly, but people say, well, don't tie your self-worth to your home, and don't tie your self-worth to your physique, and don't tie your self-worth to your business or your income. I mean, don't tie your self-worth to what car you drive. Well, what do I tie it to? I think you tie your self-worth to intentions, effort, and getting better.
Yeah.
And if you tie your self-worth to pure intentions, growing as much as you can, contributing as much as you can, doing all you can with all you have, with your time, effort, and money, I think results will eventually come if you continue to fail, learn, iterate, fail, learn, iterate, fail, learn, iterate. The reason why detached from outcome, we're talking about it again, even though it's a concept that we struggled with early on, is because I think socially it's actually really valuable. When I did my 5K this past weekend, I didn't detach from outcome. I didn't go, oh, whatever happens, happens. No, I said, I'm going to get the best time that I can. And I even had the moment of, I really should have been up front. We were like meeting some people, and I should have started up front because I had to pass a lot of people. There was a little kid in front of me. He was cute. He was really inspired by me. And I eventually had to say, little man, I gotta go. It was actually really adorable, to be honest. But I didn't detach from the outcome to the point where it's like, whatever. I guess I'll just walk up this hill. I had to stay attached to the outcome of, you're not walking, Alan. No matter how bad this hurts, you do not walk. Because there was a few moments during that race that were uphill where I was like, this is the worst thing ever.
Yeah.
This is so bad. And I said, whatever you do, do not walk. That's not who you are. This is identity level stuff. You do not walk. You've got this. You can do this. You do not walk. I didn't detach from outcome. So in self, you don't detach from outcome in self. You don't detach from outcome in effort. You don't detach from outcome in things that move the needle. You know what you do detach from outcome on? I don't really care if my mom likes what place I got. I don't really care if my ex-friends don't like my business. You know where else you detach from outcome? I'm going to bring up a challenging truth to a friend, and if they want to leave me, abandon me, lash out at me, I'm going to detach from outcome. I have to say this anyway. I think that's why I think detach from outcome is powerful, is because socially it's powerful. Whereas if you're attached to a social outcome, you have to contort yourself and hide your true self in order to get an outcome.
Yeah.
And that's why sales and business are so challenging, because sales is relationships and business is competence. And in competence, I don't think anyone should detach from any outcomes. I think you should be as competent as humanly possible and do all you can with all you have, with the time, effort, and money that you have. When it comes to social, you need to detach from outcome. Otherwise, people will control you. And our clients will say, oh, well, can you also do my mailing list? And can you also, and can you also, and can you also, but also I want it for this price point. See how you kind of, when you have goals that you're attached to, other people have leverage on you. This is why live. Go ahead.
Let me ask you a question. Do you believe the level that you detach from the outcome should be connected to the level of belief you have in your ability to control the outcome? And let me just preface. I saw a post recently of somebody who was... So Alan and I are both former bodybuilders. Alan has done physique shows. I've done bodybuilding shows. I guess we're still bodybuilders, but not competing.
I identify as that for sure.
I don't compete.
Yeah.
My thought has always been, it's been very inspiring to see someone who is on stage that you know is not on stage because they think they're going to win. They're on stage because they have gone on a massive journey to get to where they are. There was a post about that, and somebody commented something negative about like that this person's wasting somebody else could be on stage and this person's holding their spot, for lack of better phrasing. And somebody big in the industry commented, you should never have that attitude. That is a terrible attitude to have. Like, this
100%.
person grinded their face off to get there, and just because they're not necessarily in the hunt for the trophy does not mean they didn't accomplish something amazing to get to where they are.
Agreed.
I think it's positive for them to detach from the outcome of winning the show.
Agreed. I think detach from the wrong outcome. That's what this is. That's
Okay.
what this whole conversation has been, is detach from the wrong outcomes. You don't want to know what the wrong outcome is? Here's a wrong outcome to detach to be attached to, and this is my past, so I'll speak from experience. I'm going to say only the amount of truth that this other person can handle without them leaving me. I don't want to tell them how I really feel because I'm scared that they will leave me. So I had one past partner who I thought was very arrogant in the fitness arena, and she was trying to coach me on certain things that I very clearly knew way better than her. It was very inappropriate in hindsight. And I wish I had the courage. I just didn't. I should have said the truth, which is, with all due respect, you're like not in shape. And I'm not trying to be unkind. Why are you coaching me right now? What? This is like all I do. This is my whole life. Fitness coaching, fitness competitions, fitness modeling. And what are we doing here? I don't understand. Now, in hindsight, I just was afraid to be left. And I knew she'd leave if I told her the truth. I mean, she avoids all truth. That's the truth. And she did, right? And we ended up working it out, and then I decided to end up, we ended up going our separate ways. But the point, and I'm grateful for that, but the point is when you're attached to outcomes socially, it's very dangerous because you'll chameleon your way to get the outcome. Like if I need these people to like me, you'll contort yourself. I think that's all this comes down to.
You'll be super sad. If you don't get their approval, you'll be super sad. If that's the outcome that you are attached to.
Yes. It's fear-based.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think attached to the outcome that makes the most sense. Here's the problem, Kev. That's a whole episode in and of itself. More than an episode. I could probably do a freaking 3-hour-long training on how to attach to the right outcome. I had a coaching call earlier with a new client, and I told him I love this dream statement, but brother, it's the wrong target. It's awesome, but this is all experiences. You need to aim at a target that the byproduct of the target is those things. Like to live, love, and laugh off and like stuff like that. That's a byproduct. You and Taryn are having a magnificent relationship and you guys are laughing and you said that it's really fulfilling. That's a byproduct of something way bigger.
Oh, we're both growing.
That's why. Because of XYZ.
Yeah.
Like, all of it's a byproduct of build the most positively impactful self-improvement company in history. I mean, that's what, even this episode in this moment is a byproduct of that thing no one else can see. That's got to be the most detrimental.
It's so hard to explain because that's the thing is like I've detached from the outcome of this episode. I'm not obsessing over. Somebody asked me that they sent me a message. Shout out to Carl, podcaster, men's group facilitator, good human. He's like, hey, I noticed you guys have been doing like 20 to 30 minute episodes and like 45 is what a lot of people suggest. Why are you not doing that amount? And I said, honestly, man, I'm just doing what we're enjoying. I'm just kind of jumping on and having a cool conversation. I said, I'm not suggesting you do that necessarily.
Yeah.
But what are you going to tell me it has to be 45 minutes? No, I want to do what I enjoy. I do this so often. Alan and I have had bouts where it's like, I don't know, man. I don't know if I'm super fulfilled doing this right now, the way we're doing it.
Yeah.
And then we pivot, and then we pivot, and then we pivot. But I've had to detach from the outcome of how each episode goes.
Same.
But it doesn't mean I want to do any less quality. That's why it's so hard.
Yep.
Because
and then where do standards fall into all this? I know we got to jump soon, but dude, I do another podcast, Conscious Couples Podcast. I can't detach from outcome in the moment as well as I can here. You and I have more reps.
Welcome to all the times I used to tell you, brother, I can't get into flow because if we do, I'm going to go over time. And you used to say, no, man, you got to trust. No, man, trust me.
I know.
You are lost in time. You have no idea how long it's been. Somebody has to stay focused on that. That was me.
I have the timer right now. We're at 27:57, son. No,
yeah,
it's true.
You'd run right by it. You'd run right through it.
I know. That is, now I'm you.
I know. Well, hey, welcome. Welcome to...
Yeah.
So I never really attached... I never detached from outcome. I never really ever detached from outcome in certain situations.
It's almost like you... At each stage of the journey, you have to be attached to the right outcome based on what stage of the journey you're at. Based on your unique goals, your unique core values, and your unique competence level. And it changes over time. Dude.
Yeah, dude.
That's why it's so funny. My coaching, this is as simple as it gets. This is the most simple I can make it. People say, what do you do in coaching? I get you to track the right things so that you focus on the right things. And when you focus on the right things, you invest your time, effort, and money into the proper persons, places, things, and ideas, and the byproduct of that is the results you want. And no one knows what the hell I'm talking about. And the truth is, dude, it's impossible to explain because that's the simplest way I can explain it, but it's unique to each individual. Dude, I did that earlier, dude. I don't know why I'm saying
why are you
dude
calling
so
me
much.
dude so much?
I don't know, man.
Brother.
Yeah, a little bit. I was on a call earlier, and I've gotten a lot of new clients lately. I'm so grateful. But new clients are the hardest because they don't know my we haven't designed their true north yet.
Right.
And designing a new true north where all of what I just said is in alignment with what they tell me they want, half of the first call is just, what exactly do you care about? What do you even value? And then I have to go into my brain, and he's like, I've never heard it said like that before. And he's listening right now. It makes perfect sense to do this, this, and this for the rest of your life and redesign your entire life and reorient your entire existence around this, and you'll be super fulfilled and successful. He's like, oh, yeah, but I've been doing this for 7 years trying to figure it out. And honestly, my entire life I've been trying to figure that out. So it really is an equation. I mean, you're very fulfilled and successful, Kev, but that's an equation that we had to figure out for you specifically.
Well, even I told you the other day, I was like, dude, I got to start rapping again, man. I miss it. I'm fulfilled. I'm right now, I'm probably the most fulfilled I've ever been. But I know there's something missing. I can tell. Like, I feel great in the gym. I'm a bodybuilder again, tracking macros, awesome, feel great. Business is great. Everything's great. Relationship's great, awesome. But I just feel like that's missing. Like, there's a creative piece of me that's not being fed that I miss.
Spit one, son.
I'll spit one. Not now. I don't have it. I'm not in the place. I haven't been writing. I don't have any stuff off the top of my head.
You want me to beatbox?
No, it doesn't. I mean, it doesn't matter.
I can't anyway. I'm kidding.
Matt was a really good beatboxer.
I don't doubt that.
Yeah, he was a really good beatboxer. Would it be a valuable episode to do one on mission statement or is it too specific?
If you feel called, I think we should do it.
I'm down to do it. Again, this is going to be one of those times where Kevin probably sits quietly with his thumb in his mouth. I don't know what. I'll add something, like, you know how you suck your thumb when you're a baby?
Yeah, no, I know.
Dude. Well, yeah, you want to do it. We'll do that. We'll do that for a future episode, a.k.a. the next episode that you hear will be that one because we just decided live.
Cool. Let's do it.
If you are focused on getting to the next level every single day, even a little bit, again, you're not going to change everything overnight. Make sure you are subscribed on your platform of choice, whether you're listening to us, I can't speak to save my life, or watching us on YouTube. Yeah, make sure you're subscribed. I am of the mind that some days I don't want to get better. I'll be very honest. I don't really feel like listening to this audiobook. I don't really feel like doing this. But you get a little ping that NLU just dropped their latest episode. Maybe that'll be the gentle kick in the butt for you to listen to the episode and get a little bit better. So please subscribe if you have not yet.
Nice.
Dude.
Accountability. A little gentle kick in the butt.
A gentle kick in the butt is, I think that's heart-driven but no BS. That's what we are.
Yeah, we all need more accountability.
For sure.
Kevin and I are coming up on the tail end, the last 30 days of the 10-pound and 10-week challenge, and we are in some trouble.
I'm going to be hungry here in the next few weeks.
I have 4.5 pounds to lose. I think
you're
you have 7.
Somehow ahead. I don't think I'm actually at 177. My lowest weigh-in so far has been 176. So I think I'm probably around 175, like real weight. But it's been humbling, to say the least.
If anyone out there wants help tracking the right metrics, dialing in the correct habits, and most importantly, staying accountable. I told my new client today, I said, I don't care if it's 30% total productive output, meaning you only hit 30% of your habits. I care that you track. I said, I'm not coaching you if you're not committed. And if you're not committed, you're not going to track. So you need to track. All I'm asking is when I talk to you in 2 weeks, this will be filled out. It doesn't have to be perfect. I could care less if you could put all goose eggs, but you're going to track habits if you're in my coaching, because I'm telling you, that is what will change your life. So if you want help on that front, you want more accountability, you want to track your habits, you want to get your metrics dialed in and make sure you're making meaningful progress toward meaningful goals for a meaningful purpose, my coaching is the way. I really, really, really look forward to meeting you. I just had someone book on my calendar today. It's awesome. Shout out to Liz. And I hope you book. The link will be in the show notes.
I was the first client you ever had. I feel like I don't get any freaking credit for the success you've created.
First client?
I think so.
Yeah, maybe. Unofficially.
Doesn't matter. It's official now. Mother Goose. As always, we love you. We appreciate you. Grateful for each and every one of you. And at NLU, we don't have fans. We have family. We will talk to you all tomorrow.
Stay focused on the outcomes you can control. Next Level Nation.